Hello, everybody. Hi, happy Wednesday. Good afternoon. Hello there. My name is Leibella Ralston. I'm also known as Mommy Lay on the internet, and it's Wednesday afternoon once again. Together with Michael Stores and Faber-Castell USA, we're going to be creating a fun kawaii art today. And so I am so grateful that you guys are all joining and going to have fun with me. Hello, Judith. Hi, Lakita. Hello, Tina. Happy May. Oh my goodness. Time flies when we're having fun, isn't it? I can't believe it's May already. This is so crazy. And so I'm super excited. Let's talk a little bit about supplies. I have an illustration pad in here. This is a Bristol Vellum. And then I also have the Faber-Castell USA Goldfaber colored pencils. All right. And so if you're going to be creating along with me today, if you don't have the exact supplies, it's okay. But we're going to be learning a whole lot from sketching to doodling. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm also going to be using my Faber-Castell PITT artist pens for my line art. And the PITT artist pen, especially in black, comes in many different type of tips. I have my favorites. I love the super fine, the letter S, like this one. And also there are some brand new tips also that will be available at Michael's very, very soon. This one I love, the new Fudenosuke pens. So those are coming, I think around June, July in your local Michael's. So super excited about that one. But for today, I might be using the Superfine. And then I will also have the 1.5, the bullet nib, and also maybe the brush, maybe the extra super fine too. super fine. Okay, so if you have any question during the class, you can use the chat, and then I will try my hardest to answer any of those questions. If also you printed our handout for today, that's fine. You can use that, but that's a little too big. But if you want to learn a bit more than just the tacos, maybe I figured, we'll just play and doodle and relax and really have some fiesta in here. Pun intended, because we're going to be creating some yummy food. I think we'll draw some tacos, maybe a burrito, maybe some chili peppers, maybe some smoothies to go on the side, maybe some soda or something like that. So the colors that I have in here, well, because we're creating some burritos and tacos, I have reds, yellow for the cheese, red for the tomatoes, maybe a beige color like this for the tortilla. And I'm going to make sure that I sharpen my pencils, green for the lettuce, right? So you want to prepare some color brown for the ground beef or some chicken if you'd like some chicken. And then also make sure to do what I'm doing, make sure that your colored pencils are sharpened, because it really does help a lot, especially if you're going to create some fine details in there. That's always helpful. Or just have a sharpener ready if you need it. Okay, I think I'm good with all these colors. Now I have pencil. If you're going to be doing some sketches, I really recommend using an HB pencil, just because an HB is the perfect pencil. It's not going to be too black. It's not going to be really, it's not also going to be very hard. It's just perfect. It's in that middle. And then, but I'm going to use a 2B just because sometimes it's very hard for the camera to pick up some of that, some of the sketching that I'm doing. All right. So I think I have everything. I'm going to close this one. Oops, I've got my yellow. I have my yellow in here, yellow and orange, maybe, just so we can have colors. Now, if you want to do a little bit of maybe shadow, you can find two colors, maybe a lighter brown and a darker brown. It always helps. Have some coral or a pink color for the blush also. I love adding blush. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to grab 3 colors of green. Maybe that's a little too excessive, but you know what? You never really know sometimes. And I'm making a mess on my desk. My goodness gracious. All right. Pick up this brown also for my ground beef. Just thinking about what we're going to draw today, I'm already getting hungry. I can't believe this. All right, I'm going to set this aside and I'll try to clean up before we get started. All right, so I am broadcasting live from Texas. We moved from Arkansas, and I know this is not part of our class, but I just want to share with you, since we moved here, I have never tried this birria before. So there's a thing that's called birria, and it's so good. It's like a quesadilla, but it has a different sauce. It's cooked slightly different, but this birria is so good. So because we're doing some burritos in here and all that, it just made me think about it, and now I'm hungry. All right, I think I'm all set up and clean. Here we go. Again, I'm going to start with my 2B pencil because it's going to help us a lot. And as we are doing the class, I will explain why I love using colored pencils as a medium. If I can choose a favorite, it's really hard because it depends on what type of project you're working on. The reason why I love colored pencils is because there's no drying time. For example, if we're going to use a watercolor, I have to wait a certain time, you know, before I can add my layer. And of course, there's a heat tool. You've seen me use some heat gun and heat tool to speed up the process. But with colored pencils, I don't have to worry about bleed through. I don't have to worry about drying time. And also, it's not so expensive. All right. Okay. So are we ready? I'm talking too much. Here we go, everyone. Can I use Crayolas? Yes, you can. You can use any markers that you would like. Ellie is asking, do I need a black pen? Yes, for the line art, you can use a black pen, but you can use any color, brown, blue, anything really. All we're going to learn is we're going to create some cute kawaii characters in here, Mexican food. It's going to be yummy. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Now, when I teach drawing and doodling class like this, I like to remind you first to be kind to yourself. For example, what you're going to see me doing, you know, if you think that my drawing is not showing up exactly as that, I'm not too good, I don't like this, no, I want you to be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself. And everyone is an artist, you know, and it takes practice. You don't want me to pull out some of my old drawings because that's going to be very not too good. So, but because I practice a lot, that really helps. And so I want you to do the same. I want you to practice whatever it is that we're going to do today. This may not be your best work, or maybe it will because I'm a good teacher, but I just want you to have fun. That's the thing that matters the most. All right. So when it comes to kawaii, kawaii is actually pronounced as kawaii. I've been pronouncing it as kawaii, and I get a lot of not too kind comments on the internet because you know how the internet is. It's good, sometimes it's not. So kawaii, I guess I've been pronouncing it wrong. So kawaii means the closest word to the Japanese is cute. All right. So it's the cute way of drawing things. So I can say that this pen is kawaii, you know, it means it's so cute. And so that's what we're going to create is kawaii characters, because I love creating cute characters. Now, when it comes to kawaii, there's one thing to remember. When you look at, I'm going to grab my notebook just so I don't waste my paper here. Okay, I'll grab my notebook here. So when you look at the shape of a triangle, right? And I'm going to draw a square like this. And then I'll draw a round one. It's an oval. This is too sharp, right? The triangle, too sharp. Square, too edgy. The round is cuter. So I want you to think of that when you're going to draw your characters. You know, it can be cute. So when you see me draw a triangle, in a Kawaii, I will avoid too much of a sharp edge. So the point on the very top, I'm going to round it up just a tiny bit. Like this. Bring it down just like a regular triangle. So all the sharp edges on the side, we want that to be slightly round also. Right? So just add a small curve, very, very small, to just round those edges. See that? That can already be, nachos, yummy. So we can add here a little like a drip, some shape like waves like this. And that can look like a queso dip. And then if you add your kawaii faces in here, that's it. We have a little tiny chip. So when I say go on the rounder side of things, that's what we want. We don't want long and narrow. And I'm going to repeat this one just so we can see we can see the difference of what they look like. One is not wrong, one is not right, just different, right? So if you're going to see a chip that is very pointy in each corners, there's nothing wrong with that. They just look different. I feel like the pointy things are more of a whimsical, more like just different. I don't even know how to explain it. Now, when I see things are round, wider, squishier, they just look more cute. They look more kawaii. All right. And so even with the square, if I'm going to do a square, I would do 4 sides of our square, right? But I will not connect the corners first. So I'll have 4 like this, and then I will try to round the sides, just like that. There you go. So now we have rounded that one. Now it looks more huggable, more cuddly, right? So it's just different. Again, one is not wrong, one is not correct. They're just both different, all right? Brielle said, can I use some Sharpie? Yes, you can. You can use any marker that you'd like. I don't have colored pencils. You don't have to color it if you don't have colored pencils, because we're still going to learn how to create the character, okay? So that's one thing to remember when you want to draw kawaii characters, is that make them rounder so that they look more huggable and cuddlier and cuter, okay? All right, so off to our taco. Second pointer that I want to say is that when you want to create a character, for example, visualize that character in your mind. So you want the taco. So it's a shape. Think of it as a shape first. So I want to start with, it's almost like a round on top, right? So we have this upside down U or a frown like this, like that. So I'm going to draw that. I'm going to draw a little smaller, because this is one thing with color pencils, is that they can sometimes take forever to fill a space. So I try not to draw too big. So I have my frown like this, and I don't know why it's sideways. And remember what we talked about, the rounding of the corners or the edges. So I'm going to start with adding one wide smile. Not too much of a U. It's almost just like a curved, it's almost just like a curved line, right? It's not too much of a letter U. And then I connected the edges just like that. And I'm trying to make my, hold on, see if I can darken it a little bit more there. Maybe that's better.
Hey,
so
Lay.
Now we have, yes, ma'am.
We have a question. So which would be better to use, a mixed media pad, marker pad, or smooth bristle pad?
Smooth Bristol pad, I would use a smooth Bristol when I'm using markers. Mixed media pad would, I think, much better for this one, just because there's a slight tooth to the paper. And so I really love using this. When I'm using colored pencils, I love something that has a bit more rough on the surface, more tooth. so that the colored pencils will have something to grip on. So yeah, smooth Bristol will be perfect for markers, and we'll be doing some markers, illustration with markers soon too. So you can keep that on the side. We'll use that again. All right, so we have our shape, basic shape of our taco, and we'll leave it to that. Now let's move on and create a cute burrito. Okay, and so let's think of this as a shape again. So we're thinking of a long, a rectangle. So let's draw, instead of a straight line, I would like you to curve it just a little bit. Okay, so look what I'm going to do. So it's going to be wider on top and then slightly narrow at the bottom. And so I don't want this elongated. I don't want this thin. I want this on the chubby side of things. So I'm going to start it and then you can follow me. So again, slightly diagonal, slightly slanted, curving. I'm going to draw over here. And if you have to do short strokes like this, instead of finishing one long line, you can do so. All right. So it's like a beginning of a cup. See how everything is just shapes. Now I have this. I'm going to add that curved line again at the bottom, just like that. And then I'll connect that one again, just like that. Okay, see it's a slightly wider on top and then it goes narrow at the bottom. All right, either from the left or the right, I'm going to bring down a curved line, just like that. And then from here, this one will connect to the middle part. And remember, I'm trying not to do this, but you can do so. You can move your canvas around if that is much better. I'm trying not to do that so you don't get dizzy. And so I'm going to sacrifice it for you. I would normally move my paper, but I'll just move my hand. Here we go. Just like that. We can start the full project now. So that's the shape of our burrito, right? So let's draw another taco in here on the right side. So we'll start with that big frown again. Just like that. This one's slightly smaller. Bring it down. And then I'll do that. So you can make any item into kawaii. Okay, kawaii. Sorry, I say it again. Into a kawaii drawing. You can just add faces to a cup, to a ball, to a banana, to a lemon, and they're kawaii already. So don't forget your cute expressions and emotions, and that's what makes it very kawaii. I said it right, kawaii. Here we go. So now we have our basic shapes. So we can start adding details to this time. So let's start with our first taco. Remember that we're not creating anything that is realistic. We're drawing a cartoonish, very comic, so it doesn't have to have a whole lot of detail. So with kawaii, the simpler it looks, less detail, it looks cuter. So we don't want too much embellishments. We don't want too much shading or too much details to the sketch. We just want the basic shape and we just want the cute faces. And then we want colors to really show what are those images that we're doing. All right. So for example, we're going to draw tomatoes. How can we do that? Think of the basic shapes, circle, right? So slices of tomatoes. So we want to start adding that. So I want to fill the whole taco with some slice of tomato. And I don't want the full circle. We don't want to draw the full circle in here. So we're going to create almost like small, tiny rainbows, but we're going to draw a curved line or an arch like this. So an arch. And I'll fill this until I get onto the other side. So there's going to be a lot of tomatoes in this one. So yummy. Like this. So we're drawing almost like scallops in here, right? So if you think of the shapes, we're just adding scallops. All right. So the next layer, I want to have like ground beef. So the way I'm going to do the ground beef is that I'm going to add like small, tiny scallops. Think of this, I'm going to make it even smaller. And so my ground beef, it can look like a popcorn too. But if I don't color it, if I color it yellow, it'll look like a popcorn. Since I'm going to color it brown, then it looks like ground beef. And this is what it's going to look like. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see first. So just curve, 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 like that, right? So it's like almost just peeking through in between the layers. Maybe you want to make something much bigger. Maybe this is a bigger piece of ground meat. Look at that. Just like that. Now the back, I want that to be my lettuce. So the way I'm going to make my lettuce is, again, shapes. So it's going to be, instead of some arch, I'm going to make like wavy lines. To complete this one, I'm going all over until it reached to the sides. And I'm going to add a line over here just to show that there's like a taco shell on the back, because that's what you see. All right, I'm going to clean up this sketch right here. See the 2B, it's so hard to erase it. So that's why I really highly suggest just using an HB so it's easier to erase. All right, so for the burrito, it's going to be the same way. I think I'm going to start with the ground beef here in the center. So I'm going to add my little tiny things, 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then I'll have my tomatoes, maybe 2 tomatoes in here. 1, then 1 over here. Also, in between your tomatoes and your lettuce, if you want to add like this shape, like almost a rectangle, this is what's going to give that cheese. But I want mine melted, but we wanted to. In real life, I want my cheese melted. But this time we're drawing, so we want to add some yellow in here to add some cheese, just like that. Okay. I am hungry. Okay, I think that's good. All right, so this is my tomatoes. So to just add just a little bit of detail for the tomato, you can also add a second layer of an arch inside your shape. Just like this. So I'm showing you many different examples. So when you start and to create your own characters next time, you can play around with some of these ideas. You know, you don't want to make it too wide or too thick, just inside. Because you know the middle part is where all the seeds are. So that's what's there. Okay, so next I'm going to have a cheese. So this one is like, I'll have another one here. So just rectangle shape. I'm not super happy with that, so let me erase that. But I'm trying to add like squares for my cheese, just like that. Okay, and then I'll have some extra brown in here, some extra ground beef, like this, just like that. And then you can add another layer of tomato if you want. There, this is a really stuffed burrito, like that. And then, hi, Brielle, you can make your tacos really big too, if that's what you're thinking. So you can make your one big taco and don't draw the burrito if you like, right? And so I'm going to make my lettuce again on the back. So to me, my story of my drawing today is like the tacos are like ganging up on the burrito. Let's not talk about it, you know? So he's like, yeah, no, let's not talk about this. I'm going to keep adding details to my taco over here. I think with this one, I'll start with the ground beef too. So I'll start small like that. You can also make those layers. If you want to keep adding details inside your tomatoes, it's going to look like onions also. So everything's just so different. You can keep adding and create your own and be really expressive. Use your imagination. What can I add? Maybe you don't like those shredded of cheese. Maybe you can make them yellow bell pepper or red bell peppers, you know, so it's just different. But understanding that it's just basic shapes really, really does help a lot, because knowing that, oh, hold on, let me see if I can create, you know, a soda. Where do I begin? Start with the base, start with that basic shape. Remember how we did the burrito? That is definitely a soda too. So you can add that and turn that into a soda. I'll add some more ground beef, and this and that. I'll do that. And then I'll add my lettuce on the back, some wavy, like this. Now for the best part. Yeah, you can. You don't have to turn it into a burrito. You can make a soda like that. Right, so now the best part is the faces. Okay, so I want to show you samples. My brain is not working. Some examples of facial expressions. All right, so because we're going to add some cute faces to this. This, if you have two lines and you add circle like this in the middle, that's your eyes. And then a frown, a tiny little frown. You're like, right? Then if you add this one, like that. With this expression of the squinting eyes, if you add like a big mouth, like this, I will shade this. It's laughing. It's like, ah. If we do the same squinting eyes, the eyes are like less than, greater than. It's like mathematics. If I add like a face like this, a mouth like this, it's like, wah. It's not very happy, right? Kawaii faces. I love my normal eyes, which is 2 dots. Now you can play around with your mouth. You can do a tiny mouth like that. We can do an open mouth, kind of like a letter U, closed on top. So you can start with a U, and then you can add a line on top to close it. You can also draw like 2 arch with the cute mouth. It's very calm, very serene, right? You can draw the opposite, a letter U instead of an arch. This one is like almost sleeping. I like to add my lashes because they're so pretty, like that. You can also make long lashes. So an arch with an extra wing to add those lashes in. Another favorite of mine. And then fill in my mouth like that. If you add 2 lines like this one, and then a circle, and then another circle here, not in the center, but almost like looking into the right side. It's like, very suspicious. Smirky, smirky, right? So you have to play around with your expression because think of your characters. They don't always just smile. So build a story. So now my story here in this is that let's not talk about his burrito. So there's like some beef going on, ground beef. There's a lot of pun in this class today. The taco has some beef, the burrito. Okay. So I would do the two eyes almost looking directly to my burrito, right? So I'm going to draw that line. And then I'm going to draw that two eyes like this. Like that. And it's like, all right, mate. Let's see. Okay. I said, thank you so much. I'm glad you like my puns. If my kids are listening, they're like, oh my gosh, mom, please stop. I'm sure they are. Okay. So next one, my next taco. I wonder what the expression would be. Maybe he's like, just, you know what? I am not even going to be a part of this. So we're going to draw something different. I'm going to add some mustache to this one. So to make my mustache, is it this, that, and then in the middle, like this, and then connect this one straight to the middle, and this one too. It almost look like Mr. Pringles. I it's just like, you know what? I am not even a part of this conversation. Right there. Shade that. So that's my mustache guy. And then for the burrito, it's just going to be, I'm going to draw the squinting eye here. He's just laughing because all these guys are like, what are you so bad about? Chill. All right, so we're squinting. This. Like mouth. There. It's almost like a comic. Look, even without pictures, we have just a basic sketch in here. Okay, I'm going to show you guys the expression so you guys can pick. This is the one. And then we'll have a class, future class with just learning expression, how we can make like a comic, like a study with just expressions of the kawaii faces, because that takes one class, just expressions alone. And so we'll do that. All right, so here I'm happy, I'm good. If you're happy, we're gonna get to coloring. So I'm gonna use my kneadable eraser in here and I'm gonna erase as much as I can. But again, like what I said, because this is a 2B pencil, it's really black, and it's not really black. It's supposed to be just blacker than the HB. It's still very hard to erase. So it's so fun. There's a reason why I love kawaii, because every time I draw them, it's just so light. It makes me so happy. It's easy. You know, there's not a whole lot of planning or thinking process. You know, one is not, it's just, I love it. All right. I'm out of words. Okay. So I'm going to start with 132. This is like a light peach color. And how I like to do my coloring is that I start with a very wash, or it means very light. Okay, so very light color first. And notice how when I was drawing, my pencil was like this, upside down. But this time, look at my hand, right? It's almost like a 45-degree angle. This helps me, and I'm not going to hold it close to the very tip of the pencil. I'm going to hold it right in the middle, right? Because this one will help me with my pressure. So I can be more relaxed with my pressure. And also, I don't have to move my hand when I'm coloring. I'm going to move my wrist, all these 3 fingers, just like this. Instead of me holding it here, going like this, I will change the way I would hold my pencil like this, and then this way. I can extend it more without moving my hand upside down. It's just going to be my 3-finger and my wrist. Okay, so we'll start coloring now. And again, you start with a light color. If you guys don't have any colored pencils, if you're using a marker, then the technique is going to be different. You might just want to color just as how you color your doodles and your drawings. So this is me. I'm just going to start with that light, and I'm going to go ahead and color in my burrito.
And like you erased a bit just to lighten your lines, right?
Yes, that is correct. But my lines are pretty great right now. Sometimes my sketches, I don't always sketch this way. Let's just put it that way. I don't sketch perfect all the time, okay? So sometimes my sketches are really sketches. That's why I have to erase a lot. But this time it's almost perfect. I don't know. You guys are so great. You guys made my drawing so good. Would you ever sketch the design with the colored pencils? Yes, absolutely. And I do that. Most of the time I do that. So, but the thing is, it might be harder to erase it. If you can do your line, your sketches perfectly first time, then you can go ahead and start with your colored pencils. Maybe choose a darker color, you know, maybe a brown. If you want the black, then you can do so. It's just my worry is that my worry is that it might be hard to erase. So I'll always start with a pencil and then just go ahead and add your line art. You can use your colored pencils for your line art or use a marker. Okay. Right. So Sharon said, thank you. Thank you so much, Sharon. Okay. So here we go. I added the light color. Now we want to think about our light source, because this is how we're going to create just a little bit. When we're thinking about kawaii, there's not a whole lot of shadow, not a whole lot of dimension, you know, depth to it. But we want to do that also just to give visual interest to our drawing. It helps a lot. For example, with our tortilla, just we want to add a little bit of dimension, not a whole lot, because again, this is kawaii, more cartoonish color. We don't have to be so detailed. But my light source would be coming from the top, all right, in the middle. So thinking that if you put a flashlight on the top over here, all the shadows will be over here at the bottom of our drawing. So here, over here, and over here. This part right here would be lighter. Okay, so what do? We're going to add another layer of the same color over here. So for me, this side of my taco right here would be lighter. So I'm going to concentrate on the bottom left of the taco with adding a bit more pressure than the first layer. Not too much. We don't want to burnish this yet. Burnish means where you're packing in all the colors. This time I'm just adding a layer. I'm not burnishing it yet. Okay, so we're just going to add another layer of that. Okay, I'm just going to let it sit there. Okay, and I'm going to add some of my shadows in here. Again, just light to medium pressure, maybe not too much pressure in here. And again, notice the way I'm holding my pencil. It's not close to the tip. It's right barely, it's like in the middle. It really does help with the control of how much pressure I apply using my pencils. There we go. And then also here where the fold is, I'm going to add another layer in here, because this is where the fold of my tortilla is. So I'm just going to add there. And again, work in layers. I think that's the one thing I've learned through the years is that work slowly, work in layers, enjoy it, enjoy that process. Don't try to speed up things just because. Okay, so I'm going to add just a little bit there and then concentrate more over here on the right side, my right side. I don't know if I'm mirrored to you, but it's on my right side. And then you want to do a long continuous stroke. Okay, so note I'm going to go show you guys closer my strokes, right? So just continuous. I'm not trying to have short ones and heavy. It's just medium pressure, but just short and light while building up the layers. Okay, and move your canvas if you must, or your paper. Just like this. All right. So now if you have a darker color than your lighter color, for example, this one is a different one. Look how different the colors are. So peach and brown. I know that this is going to be darker, and I don't really want to use that too much of this dark brown, but because this is the second darkest to this color that I have, we're going to apply very light layer of this brown. Okay, so look, I'm holding it almost to the edge of my pencil. And this is going to help with being light on that pressure. Just light, just so we can add a bit more shadow in here. Just like that. Just like that. Hi, Judith. She said that I'm using the colored pencil over the original sketch. I wonder what type of pencil you're using, my dear. Did you use a graphite? And is it an HB that you used? I didn't have that problem. And I used a 2B. Were you applying a lot of pressure when you were coloring? That's so odd. Look, I'm even going over some of the sketches that we have, right? But don't worry about it because, oh, artist lot, I'm not sure. It should do that. But it's okay then. Try, if you've noticed that right away, try not to go over the sketches too much. For example, the faces, then try not to apply too much pressure when you're going through that area. So go really light and gentle. Then maybe we can fix it by adding the line art later. Yes, Faber-Castell has until 14B. It's crazy. So they have new one which goes up to 14B. So it's really, really black. So it's really, if you're a pencil artist, you're graphite, pencil, doing some monochromatic, oh man, those pencils are going to be nice. But it's just that my work, don't need them because look at what I do. They're just cute kawaii faces. All right, so now we're going to blend the colors a little bit more because I think I have too much of a brown. I want to bring the peach color back in. Go back in here just a little bit. All right. So this time I'm going to use the peach color again and go over it, that same area where we applied a little bit of our brown. Play around with your pressure when you're applying your pencil. Get to know your tools. You guys hear me say that a lot. So see, for example, the eyes, I'm going to try and avoid that area right there. Just kind of like not smear it. Just like that. Just like that. Okay, then over here too, I'll work just slightly faster because we have limited time. An hour. I mean, really, what can we do for an hour? It's too short. Too short. Right. I'm going to go over. So remember when we were younger and we were taught like to go only one way when you're using your color pencils. As I get older, and then I try to, really explore with my tools and also my style, I've noticed that I am such a rebel. I really like the look of many different strokes. I mean, I don't know. I think it really adds character to my characters. It adds character to my characters. Okay, look. So I'm sorry, guys, we're having issues with that smearing. I didn't have any issues with the smearing. Oh man, is it maybe because I lighten it with erasing it first? Maybe, guys, maybe that's it. That's why we're doing this class, because we're sharing all our experiences and really does help. So thank you, Judith, for sharing that. But I don't know where my red color is. I gotta go. Where did I put my red? Goodness, I brought it back. I'm gonna grab 2 colors of red also for my tomatoes. So I'm gonna start coloring my tomatoes, and I'm gonna color the inside slightly lighter. I'm gonna color this arch right here, the first arch, slightly darker. Now for this one, you don't have to do a whole lot of shadows or depth to it. You can just color it in. Again, if you didn't erase enough your sketch, maybe you'll have the same issue with Judith. So just be careful going over some of the lines. Try not to apply too much pressure in those areas. So you try not to have a lot of smears. Okay, so see, I have 2 values of red, which means I have a darker red and a slightly lighter just by the amount of pressure that I applied. See, it's the same color, but this one is lighter, this one is darker, just because of how much I packed in the colors in there. So I'm really applying pressure. Notice how I'm holding my pencil this time around. I'm holding it close to the tip of the pencil, right? And then here I'm gonna go light on the pressure, so I can just create like very light color of that one. So again, applying pressure. I'm almost burnishing the colored pencils in here, really packing it in so I can get a lot of pigments down like that. Like this. I'll do that. Right. Here we go. So now I'm going to go with brown because I need it for my ground beef. So I'll start with a light brown first, see what this one looks like. That's good. So I'll just go in. And what I'm going to do is see where my tomatoes are and where the ground beef is. I'm going to add just a bit more dark here and then go light on my pressure. So it's slightly lighter on top. So that I'm just creating a natural shadows where they're overlapping. Okay. And then I go lighter. Okay, pressure, and then ease up on the pressure. It might be a little hard to go color over the sketch because you feel like I'm losing details. Don't worry, because we're going to bring back the details when we add our line art. Okay. And then ease up on the pressure. Yeah, sometimes it's that pressure. And I never realized how important that is in art when you're doing not just lettering, illustration, drawings, paintings, handling the brush, pencils, markers. The more you play around with your pressure, you really get comfortable with doing a light transition from your light to hard. You're going to enjoy a whole lot more, and you're going to learn a whole lot about how you are applying certain products. Okay, this time I'm really packing in the colors. So notice how I'm holding it. Notice how I'm holding my pencil, right? I'm really packing it in because I am going all in with my pressure here, right? There. Yes, you can trace it with a pen. You can use your line art color. You can use a black marker, a brown marker, a darker brown. And since I'm running out of time, I'm going to finish this one taco. Then I will show you how I will add the line art. And then later you can finish the rest of the gang. And color them. So I'm going to do that also. I'm going to color it off camera. And then I will show the final result on my Instagram. Okay. So make sure you're following me on Instagram so you can see it in my stories. Like that. Judith said, keep going, Lay. We don't mind. Okay, I'm going to finish this one. And then we'll add maybe a little bit of lettering. Okay, so I'll add a darker green again where over here, this area where my tomatoes, where my ground beef, and the cheese and all that. Just kind of adding just a little bit of darker area there. So again, look how I'm holding this pencil, very close to the tip. When you see me holding my pencil close to the tip and upside down, that means I'm going crazy with that pressure. I'm really going all in. And I'll go again. I'm using two different shades of green here. I have 170 and 166, all right? So I'm going in with the lighter one, which is the 170. I'm just gonna go right there. Just packing it in all the colors. Just like that. And I'm gonna need a blush on. So I'm gonna get a pink color, right? I'm going to use this one. This is the 119. And just an oval shape, just like this. And another. Right? And then I'm going to pack it. Just like that. All right, so I'll use now a super fine. We can use a super fine marker. This is my favorite. This is my new favorite. Michael's, come on, hurry and have this in the stores already. This is the Fudinosuke hard tip. If you don't have this, it's okay. Use any fine tip that you have. If you did a much larger drawing than I did, then you want to use maybe a bullet tip, which is the 1.5. There, I'm going to draw. I'm going to start from the top so I don't end up with smears, okay? So I'll do my lettuce first. Wave. Okay. So be mindful of your how fast you're going with your drawings. So take your time, don't hurry, and just really enjoy this part right here. So I'm going to add the details, the lost details of my ground beef, my shredded cheese. Add that. I'll add those little tiny scalloped looking for the ground beef. I lost that in the coloring. So we bring back all of those tiny details. This. So aren't you glad we learned how to create a burrito also, and then learn how to create the characters from the basic. I think that's the most important. Instead of me just teaching you how to draw the taco here, follow along and draw this. I don't think you're going to learn anything from that, because the next time you want to create something, it's going to be much harder, because now you know where you're going to get the idea. But once you understand that creating a character begins with the basic shape, it's going to be much easier to draw something else next time. And then we're going to do, you know, for future classes, something that we can do is like build our own story. Basically, we're going to base it with maybe like this, 2-3 different characters. And then you can make your own story. I can make my own story, but we're going to be drawing the same characters. But maybe their expressions are going to be different, just because my story is different than yours. I think that's going to be fun. And then when you have larger strokes like this, and don't feel like you have to finish it one whole line. No, just pause and then continue and move on slowly but surely. I'll do my eyes. Like that. I'm going to draw my mouth. Slightly slanted. Oh, I forgot this part is a part of the tortilla. Should color that brown. This part right here. And you can start adding like hands if you want. You know, I don't want to, not right now. But that's what we have. If you feel like, okay, now that you have your line art, always make sure to give it some time, you know, give it some time to dry, because you might end up with more smearing. Now, I feel like I want to add a little bit more red. You know, this is just too much of a difference from that really vibrant red. So I'm just adding a bit more in there. And I'm intentionally trying to avoid the line just so I don't end up with more smear or some smearing, all that. So when you want to add a little bit of lettering in here, I'm going to do let's not here. So print, I say this is printing and not hand lettering. You know, there's many different opinion. And just say hand lettering. So I'm using my pencil this time. And I'm moving also my paper, so it's much easier. Let's not talk about it. This. For June, we have a improve your handwriting class. So I'm super excited about that one. I just finished it. And I will share with you what are some things you can practice. And then let's not talk about eat. Because we're just full with puns today. So instead of the word it, I'm going to put eat. Let's not talk about eat. Why not? Sure. This is just me. You don't have to do it at all. But I can definitely frame this, guys. Definitely frame it. This is going to be so cute. Yeah, there's a lot of sayings about tacos. So if you don't have like, if your brain is not working, you can always go on Google and say, what are the funny, pun jokes about tacos or burritos and things like that. But yeah, that's it. I mean, we're out of time. Oh my goodness. Um, thank you so much for joining me today. That was a whole lot of fun. I really did enjoy that. I hope that inspire you to create more, to play around and create your own characters. Start with something that you're seeing in your own home, like a plant or maybe a camera. Turn it into a kawaii character, a cup, a mug, something. But I hope you play around more and keep exploring. We're going to be doing a whole lot more classes like this in the future. As always, make sure to follow Faber-Castell. Use the hashtag Faber-Castell online, and also Learn with Michaels. They have a new, I should update this one, but there's a Learn with Michaels, and also Make It with Michaels hashtag. I would love to see what you created today. So please do tag me at Mommy Lay online. So if you're a child and need to ask your mom if you can do that, share your art online, but keep creating and just have lots of fun. That's the most important part of it, because I was not an artist to begin with from the very beginning, but you know what? But with perseverance, there is nothing impossible. So just keep making, just keep creating, and have lots of fun. All right, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. It was such a pleasure. I hope that was fun for you as much as it was for me. And have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday. Until next week, guys, I'll see you again soon. God bless you all. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.